every once in a while I'll be hooked by an album that really doesn't find a place in my regular musical library. Like, if you guys know my channel at all, you know that I'm really heavy into the progressive rock, the metal, progressive metal, tech metal, ambient music, post-rock, math rock, very experimental and avant-garde kind of stuff. But, you know, sometimes I really just get down into my roots and realize, you know, sometimes I love myself just some humble, fun music. And that's what we have here.
Marky's Brigade, Marky's Brigade, Marky, Marky, Flarky, Starky, Marky's Brigade.
Songs in the Key of D and D by Amy Vorpahl. So Amy Vorpahl is a trying to think of the best way to describe her. She is a full-out nerd and owns it through and through. I knew her from Geek and Sundry. She's done a lot of work with them. I also know her from The Nerdist when she did a huge interview with Weird Al. And so her geekiness and her passions align very well with my own. And when I found out that she does her own music, well, I just had to check it out. She has a full album based on Dungeons and Dragons. And if you guys know a little bit about me, you'll know that I am a huge player of Dungeons and Dragons. I run a weekly game at a local game shop. Combining the two, nerd rock and Dungeons and Dragons, of course I'm going to fall in love with it. How can I not? Now, I'm going to preface this for my usual viewer. This probably isn't your thing. This is a guilty pleasure of mine. I shouldn't even say guilty pleasure because I don't feel the least bit of guilt for loving this kind of thing. But I do urge anybody to check this guy out. It has some fantastic songs, and because she is a lover of comedy, there's a lot of comedy to be found in most of these songs. I mean, I was in stitches when I was listening to the Dungeon Master's Lament. Being a Dungeon Master myself, I just connected so well with what she was saying. Because I can guarantee you, if you are a Dungeon Master or a GM, You've encountered many of these scenarios before.
It's the DM's lament, the Dungeon Master's affliction, resigned to the fate that I'm my friend's referee and their chaperone and mother. No, I didn't ask for this, but who else will take care of these adult babies?
I just gush over the song of I Kill Dragons, a song about an individual that's being asked what her, I guess, pastimes and things she does for fun. And of course, it's killing dragons, playing Dungeons and Dragons. My favorite song on this album, though, is the fourth track of the Battle of the Tarrasque versus Catron. This guy is just so catchy and so pumping and moving. Like, I love the energy that's behind it. Amy's playing style on this album is fun. Like, it's not hugely complex or hugely moving, but her vocals are very, very well honed on this album, especially with the Battle of the Tarrasque versus Catron. Just the soaring that her vocals present here. I mean, it's a ridiculous notion of this kind of Voltron cat creature taking on the big kaiju of the Dungeons and Dragons world of the Tarrasque. Just the mere thought of it is ludicrous. But the amount of passion that she puts behind it, she's just like, this is going to be the battle of ages, and it's, you can't help but fall in love with it.
It's the Battle of Tarrasque versus Catron, a battle for the ages. Tarrasque versus Catron, the bells and faces.
And then we have the very funny song of I'm Coming Into My Own, and it's kind of that pun of, you know, sexual innuendo for that. I will say that the album does kind of drop off after that point. It is a little top heavy. The remaining songs are a little bit more subdued. Like, the first half is much more pumping, it's much more driving, it's much more on the go. The next half is a little bit more subdued, a little bit more slower. And I mean, this is kind of my critical mind playing here, right? Like my reviewer mind coming to the forefront. Because then we have the Ode to Fortuna, which is kind of a love song of this one individual praising their love interest, who is just this grotesque and hideous and ugly creature. And she's just like, I love you because you're ugly, and that makes me feel better about myself. Very in the line of a Weird Al love song. Then you have The Worst of the Terrible Things, which is essentially watching your character die. My Own Kingdom, again, a much more subdued song of creating my own world for other people to play in. And then the album does kind of bring up the pace a little bit with You Don't Dress Up to Play D&D. It's got kind of a more rapper approach. So, I mean, overall, if I wanted to critically analyze this album, I don't want to diss it because it's not, you know, complex or groundbreaking or anything like that. And it's not set out to do that. Like, that's why I love this album, because it knows what it wants to be and it doesn't be anything else. Like, it owns itself. It owns its essence. And I love that. I love how just fun it is. So overall, my final rating for this album, I mean, it's gotta be I love this album with my whole heart. How can it not be when it's dealing with such a personal thing for me and feeling that connection? And that's part of the reason why I'm doing this review. It's less of a review and more of a commentary now that I think about it. But that's about it. What did you guys think? If you haven't had to listen to it, give it a shot. You're probably not going to be groundbreaking, and knowing my fan base, it's probably not going to blow the doors down anybody, but it might be your thing, and if it is, let me know what you think about it. That's about it. What did you guys think? Let me know by commenting down below. Thank you guys, as always, for watching. You guys are definitely the best. And thank you for indulging me in this kind of offshoot from the usual MO of my musical indulgence. So thanks for that. And until next time, notes out.
Fight. I slay all the monsters, I protect the night, I kill dragons.